The arrival. The massive triangular silhouette appeared against the dawn sky with no warning. One moment, satellite operators around the world were tracking routine orbital traffic. The next, proximity alarms blared as sensors detected an object materializing just beyond the moon's orbit. It measured nearly 8 kilometers from bow to stern, dwarfing the International Space Station like a whale beside a minnow. Captain Alina Reyes was halfway through her morning coffee when her secure phone buzzed with the emergency code. As head of the United Nations Extraterrestrial Response Division, a department most thought existed only for bureaucratic appearances, she had spent 15 years preparing for exactly this scenario. Yet the reality of it turned her blood cold. "It's not responding to any communication attempts," her deputy, Dr. Marcus Chen, reported as Alina rushed into the command center beneath Geneva. "And it's moving into geosynchronous orbit over the Pacific." The room hummed with controlled chaos as analysts and specialists from 27 nations worked frantically at their stations. On the main screen, high-resolution imagery showed the vessel's dark metallic surface reflecting sunlight. Its triangular shape tapered to a sharp point at the front, while the rear section broadened into a massive engine housing. The overall impression was of a massive arrowhead aimed directly at Earth. "Any weapons activity?" Alina asked, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Nothing detectable," replied Major Koshiro Tanaka, their military liaison. "But its hull is absorbing our scanning attempts. We're essentially blind to whatever's happening inside." By noon, the vessel had settled into a stable position above the international date line. Social media exploded with images captured from observatories and amateur telescopes. World leaders convened an emergency session of the UN Security Council, while military forces worldwide elevated to highest alert status. Stock markets plummeted, religious gatherings swelled, and grocery stores emptied as humanity confronted the undeniable reality of not being alone. At the UNERD Command Center, Alina assembled her core team. Besides Dr. Chen, a xenolinguistics specialist, there was Dr. Asha Patel, their leading xenobiologist, Commander James Washington, aerospace engineer and former NASA mission specialist, and Dr. Fatima Al-Zahrani, quantum physicist, and the newest addition to their team. The vessel's configuration doesn't match any known theoretical designs for interstellar travel, Commander Washington noted, manipulating a 3D model of the ship. "Those aren't conventional propulsion systems at the rear. If I had to guess, they're more like stabilizers for something far more advanced. The energy signature is unlike anything in our database," added Dr. Al-Zahrani. "It's maintaining a quantum field that might explain how it appeared so suddenly. It didn't approach from deep space. It transitioned directly into our vicinity." The implications hung heavily in the air. Not only had an alien vessel arrived, but it possessed technology that rendered humanity's most advanced physics models obsolete. 48 hours after its arrival, with global tensions reaching breaking point, the vessel finally responded. Every communication device on Earth, from military radios to civilian smartphones, simultaneously received the same signal, a complex sequence of mathematical equations and geometric patterns. Dr. Chen's team worked feverishly to decipher the message. "It's a primer," he explained during the third emergency briefing. "Similar to how we would establish communication with an unknown intelligence. They're establishing shared references, universal constants, prime numbers, basic geometry. They're trying to teach us their language," Alina summarized. "Yes, but there's something else," Dr. Chen continued, his expression troubled. "Embedded within the mathematical sequences are symbols that match ancient petroglyphs found in multiple human civilizations, Sumerian, Egyptian, Mayan, and others. Symbols that archaeologists have debated for centuries." Dr. Patel leaned forward. "Are you suggesting they've been here before? Or they've been watching us for a very long time?" Alina said. By the end of the first week, Dr. Chen's team had established rudimentary communication. The vessel identified itself as Harbinger and claimed to serve as a sentinel of the progenitors. The translation team struggled with these concepts, uncertain whether they represented names, functions, or something else entirely. On the 8th day, the Harbinger began a systematic scanning operation of Earth's surface. Powerful energy beams, invisible to the naked eye but detectable by scientific instruments, swept across continents in a precise grid pattern. Despite international protests and threats, the scans continued unabated. "They're looking for something," Commander Washington observed. "Something specific." The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Al-Zarani discovered that the scanning beams were focusing particular attention on locations that aligned with Earth's geomagnetic anomalies, places where the planet's magnetic field exhibited unusual properties. Many coincided with archaeological sites of ancient megalithic structures: Göbekli Tepe, the Giza Plateau, Stonehenge, Teotihuacan, and dozens of others. "There's a pattern here," Elena told the Security Council during an emergency session. "These sites have always puzzled archaeologists because of their precise astronomical alignments and engineering that seemed beyond their builders' technologies." The council chambers erupted in speculation until the Secretary General called for order. "Captain Reyes, are you suggesting these ancient structures are somehow connected to this vessel?" "I'm suggesting the possibility that they were built under guidance from the same civilization that sent this ship," she replied carefully. "And now the Harbinger is confirming their locations." After 2 weeks of scanning, the Harbinger transmitted a new message, this time directly to UNERD headquarters. It contained detailed schematics for a device using technologies beyond current human capabilities, but with recognizable components. Dr. Al-Zarani spent 72 sleepless hours analyzing the specifications. "It's a quantum communication device," she finally announced. "More advanced than anything we theorized, but the principles are sound. They want us to build this to establish clearer communication. Or it could be a weapon," Major Tanaka countered. "We have no way of verifying its purpose." The debate raged through diplomatic channels and classified military briefings. Some nations advocated immediate construction of the device. Others demanded offensive action against the vessel before it could potentially activate whatever it was seeking on Earth. Elena found herself the decisive voice in a divided world. After consulting with her team and meditating on the limited options, she authorized construction of the communication device under stringent safety protocols. Using advanced manufacturing facilities in Japan, Germany, and the United States, the components were assembled within days. On the 21st day after the Harbinger's arrival, in a reinforced bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, the device was activated. The results were immediate and astonishing. A holographic projection filled the chamber, showing a humanoid figure nearly identical to Homo sapiens, but with subtle anatomical differences: slightly elongated cranium, larger eyes with vertical pupils, and skin with a faint bluish undertone. The figure spoke in a melodious language unlike any on Earth, but the device translated its words into text across multiple human languages simultaneously. "We are the Anunnaki," it began. "We seeded your world 400,000 years ago, accelerating the evolution of your species as we have done on countless worlds. Earth was established as a sanctuary and observation post in this sector of the galaxy." The message continued, explaining that the Anunnaki had guided early human civilizations, teaching them agriculture, mathematics, astronomy, and other foundational knowledge, before retreating to allow independent development. The ancient structures were not merely monuments but components of a planetary defense network, designed to be activated if Earth faced certain cosmic threats. "The Harbinger has returned because that threat now approaches," the message concluded. "The network must be reactivated. The children of Earth must claim their inheritance and take their place among the stellar community." As the implications of this revelation rippled through humanity's understanding of its own history, the Harbinger transmitted detailed coordinates to UNERD. They pointed to a location in the South Pacific, thousands of kilometers from any landmass, where the ocean reached depths of over 10,000 meters. Satellite imagery revealed nothing unusual, but deep scanning submersibles detected a massive geometric structure buried beneath the ocean floor. A perfect pyramid 10 times larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, composed of an unknown metallic alloy. It's a control hub, Commander Washington theorized. If the ancient sites are nodes in a network, this could be its central processor. 3 days later, as a specialized research vessel positioned itself above the underwater structure, the Harbinger descended from orbit for the first time. Its massive form hovered just above the ocean surface, casting a shadow kilometers wide. Captain Elena Reyes, aboard the research vessel with her core team, watched as the water beneath the Harbinger began to churn. A column of light extended from the vessel's underside into the depths, illuminating the dark waters with blinding intensity. The ocean floor shuddered. Seismographs worldwide recorded the movement as the buried pyramid began to rise, displacing millions of tons of seawater in a controlled ascension that defied all known physics. Water cascaded from its gleaming surfaces as it emerged into daylight for the first time in millennia. As the pyramid breached the surface, intricate patterns across its faces began glowing with the same energy signature as the Harbinger. The vessel and the pyramid established a visible connection through the column of light, information flowing between them at incomprehensible speed. Something's happening at the other sites, Dr. Chen reported, monitoring global feeds. All the ancient structures, they're activating simultaneously. Around the world, the megalithic sites identified in the Harbinger scans began emitting the same energy signature. At Göbekli Tepe, stones buried for thousands of years rose from the ground. At Giza, hidden chambers within the Great Pyramid opened, revealing technologies that had remained dormant since its construction. At Nazca, the famous lines began glowing with internal light, revealing themselves as a massive circuit board embedded in the earth. Humanity stood at the threshold of a new understanding of its past and its future. The Harbinger had not come to conquer, but to awaken. Earth's first star destroyer was not a weapon of war, but a key to unlock humanity's cosmic heritage. As Captain Elena Reyes watched the pyramid rise fully from the ocean, she understood that everything was about to change. The Harbinger bore a message that would transform humanity forever. They were not alone, had never been alone, and were now being called to face a threat that transcended their world. The countdown to Earth's awakening had begun. The awakening. The South Pacific Pyramid hovered 10 meters above the ocean surface, water streaming from its perfectly smooth faces. No seams or joints marred its metallic skin, which shimmered with an iridescent quality that seemed to shift between solid matter and pure energy. "It's beautiful," whispered Dr. Patil, gripping the research vessel's railing as waves from the pyramid's emergence rocked the ship. Captain Elena Reyes couldn't disagree, but beauty wasn't her primary concern. "Any radiation or other emissions we should worry about?" she asked Dr. Al-Zarani, who monitored an array of specialized equipment. "Nothing harmful," the physicist replied, her eyes wide with wonder. "It's generating a quantum field similar to the Harbinger's, but it's integrating with Earth's magnetic field rather than disrupting it. It's as if it's designed to work with our planet's natural systems." The Harbinger maintained its position above the pyramid, the energy conduit between them pulsing with increasing intensity. Suddenly, a section of the pyramid's surface rippled like liquid, creating an opening large enough for a small vessel. "They're inviting us in," Dr. Chen said, translating the latest transmission from the Harbinger. "They're requesting your presence, Captain, along with representatives of our species." Every military and intelligence agency monitoring the situation immediately objected. It could be a trap, Major Tanaka argued during the emergency video conference. "We have no guarantee of your safety inside that structure." Elena understood the risks, but also recognized the historic importance of this moment. "If they wanted to harm us, they could have done so already," she countered. "This may be our only opportunity to understand what we're dealing with before the situation escalates further." After tense negotiations with the Security Council, approval came through with strict conditions. Captain Reyes would leave a small team including Dr. Chen, Dr. Al-Zarani, and Commander Washington. They would maintain constant communication and carry emergency beacons. Military forces would stand ready to respond if contact was lost. As they approached the pyramid in a small launch, Alina felt the weight of history on her shoulders. Humans had dreamed of extraterrestrial contact for centuries, imagining countless scenarios from benevolent visitors to hostile invaders. None had anticipated rediscovering their own forgotten origins. The opening in the pyramid's surface expanded as they approached, revealing a luminous corridor that seemed to extend impossibly far into the structure. The team donned specialized environmental suits as a precaution, though sensors indicated the atmosphere inside was surprisingly Earth-like. Oxygen, nitrogen, trace gases in similar proportions to our atmosphere, reported Commander Washington as they stepped onto the pyramid's threshold. Temperature stable at 22 degrees Celsius. If this was built by our parents, they apparently share our environmental preferences. The corridor illuminated itself as they advanced, revealing seamless walls inscribed with intricate patterns similar to those observed at ancient sites around the world. Dr. Chen recorded everything, occasionally murmuring in amazement as he recognized symbols from disparate human cultures integrated into a cohesive writing system. After walking for nearly 10 minutes, they entered a vast chamber at what appeared to be the center of the pyramid. The space defied conventional architecture, with angles and dimensions that seemed to shift subtly as they moved. At its center stood a pedestal supporting a crystalline sphere approximately 1 meter in diameter. The ancient records, came a voice inside their minds, startling the team. A figure materialized before them. The same bluish-skinned humanoid they had seen in the holographic transmission, but now seemingly present in physical form. It raised a 6-fingered hand in greeting. "I am Enki, interface of the Anunnaki Collective," it said, its lips moving in sync with the words they heard mentally. "We welcome the children of Earth to this nexus." Alina stepped forward as designated representative. "I am Captain Alina Reyes of the United Nations Extraterrestrial Response Division. We come seeking understanding." Enki gestured toward the crystal sphere. "This contains the history of your world and your species, including knowledge we deem too dangerous to leave in the hands of developing consciousness. Your people have evolved sufficiently to access it now." "Why return after so long?" Alina asked. "Why now?" "Because the Devourers approach," Enki replied, waving a hand to transform the chamber around them. Suddenly, they stood in what appeared to be space, surrounded by stars and galaxies. One region of stars blinked out, replaced by absolute darkness that spread like ink through water. "The Devourers consume all matter, all energy, all information," Enki explained. "They are not a species as you understand the concept, but a cosmic force that entered our galaxy 3,000 of your years ago. We have fought them across hundreds of star systems, established barriers and countermeasures, but they continue to advance." The visualization showed the darkness approaching Earth's solar system, still distant but moving inexorably closer. Earth was established not merely as an evolutionary experiment, but as a final fallback position, Enki continued. "The defense network your ancestors helped construct under our guidance was designed to be activated in this emergency." Commander Washington frowned. "You're saying ancient humans built a planetary defense system without understanding what they were building?" "They understood its purpose, if not its mechanisms," Enki replied. "Many of your myths about gods and cosmic battles reflect fragmented memories of this truth." As the team absorbed this revelation, alerts sounded from their communication devices. Dr. Al-Zaraini checked her equipment and paled. "Something's happening worldwide. Massive energy spikes at all the ancient sites simultaneously." The chamber visualization shifted to show Earth, where points of light appeared at each archaeological site identified in the Harbinger scans. Lines of energy connected these points, forming a luminous web around the planet. "The network awakens," Enki said, "but it requires guidance, a consciousness to direct its power." "You need a human operator," Alina realized. "Not merely human," Enki corrected. "One carrying the activated genetic markers of the Anunnaki." one like you, Captain Reyes. The revelation stunned Alina. What are you saying? Throughout human history, certain bloodlines maintained stronger connections to your Anunnaki heritage. You are a direct descendant of those who worked most closely with us. Your genetic structure contains activation keys that enable interfacing with our technology. Outside the pyramid, global chaos intensified. Military forces worldwide tracked unprecedented energy readings from the ancient sites. In orbit, satellites detected spatial distortions forming in the outer solar system, the beginnings of a defensive perimeter. Inside the chamber, Alina faced an impossible choice. If I help activate this network, what happens to Earth, to humanity? Your species claims its cosmic inheritance, Enki answered. Earth becomes an acknowledged member of the galactic community, under the protection of surviving advanced civilizations. The alternative is to face the devourers alone. Dr. Chen studied his instruments with growing concern. Captain, I'm detecting multiple objects entering the solar system. Massive objects moving at impossible speeds. The Harbinger's sensors have identified devourer scout forms approaching your system, Enki confirmed. We have perhaps 48 hours before they reach Earth. The defense network must be fully operational before then. As Alina considered humanity's options, Dr. Al-Zarani approached the crystalline sphere, her scientific curiosity overwhelming caution. This contains all Anunnaki knowledge, all that is relevant to Earth and human development, Enki clarified. Scientific understanding beyond your current capabilities, historical records of your true origins, technologies that will advance your civilization by millennia. Commander Washington's military training asserted itself. And weapons, technologies that could be misused. Knowledge is neutral, Enki responded. Its application reflects the consciousness wielding it. This is why activation requires one who understands both human and Anunnaki perspectives, a bridge between worlds. Alina felt the weight of decision pressing upon her. If I agree to this, I need guarantees that Earth remains sovereign, that humanity determines its own future. That has always been the intention, Enki assured her. The Anunnaki do not seek subjects or servants. We seek allies against a common threat, and eventually equals. After conferring with her team and relaying the situation to Earth's leadership, Alina made her decision. She approached the crystal sphere as Enki instructed, placing her hands upon its smooth surface. The material responded immediately to her touch, glowing with increasing brilliance. Your consciousness will temporarily join with the network, Enki explained. You will perceive all nodes simultaneously, directing energy where needed. The experience will transform your understanding, but your essential self will remain. As Alina's mind connected with the sphere, her awareness expanded beyond the confines of her physical body. Suddenly, she could perceive every activated node in the planetary network. Göbekli Tepe, Giza, Stonehenge, Teotihuacan, and dozens more previously undiscovered sites buried beneath mountains or oceans. Through this expanded awareness, she also sensed the approaching threat. Vast entities of anti-energy that consumed everything in their path, leaving not merely destruction but absolute nullification. The devourers were unlike anything humanity had conceptualized, neither living nor machine, but cosmic algorithms gone rogue, executing a program of total consumption across the universe. With Enki's guidance, Alina directed the network's energies, establishing layers of quantum barriers around the solar system. The ancient sites pulsed with power, channeling energies that had lain dormant for millennia. In orbit, the Harbinger coordinated with the planetary defense system, its massive form serving as both shield and sword. Around the world, humans witnessed extraordinary phenomena as the defense network activated. The sky shimmered with curtains of light more spectacular than any aurora. Gravity fluctuated briefly in regions near the ancient sites. Electronic systems experienced momentary disruptions before adapting to the new energy fields permeating the planet. As the first Devourer scouts reached the outer solar system, they encountered the newly established barriers. Dark, amorphous forms collided with walls of energy, their consumption capabilities temporarily neutralized by fields operating on principles beyond conventional physics. Through her connection with the network, Alina felt these collisions as distant impacts against a shield she held. With each assault, she learned to adjust the defenses, redirecting energy to strengthen vulnerable points. The Harbinger moved to intercept those few entities that penetrated the outer barriers, using weapons that severed the Devourer's connections to their main consciousness. After 72 hours of continuous operation, the initial wave of Devourers had been repelled. Alina disconnected from the crystal sphere, physically exhausted but mentally transformed by the experience. "You have done well," Enki told her. "The network functions as designed, but this was merely the first encounter. The main Devourer consciousness will adapt and attempt new approaches. Then we need to prepare," Alina replied, her perspective forever changed by what she had witnessed. "Humanity needs to understand what we're facing and what we've become." In the months that followed, Earth experienced the most profound transformation in its history. The knowledge contained within the crystal sphere was carefully disseminated, revolutionizing human science overnight. Clean energy technologies eliminated pollution and resource scarcity. Medical advances cured diseases previously thought incurable. Quantum communication systems connected the planet instantaneously. The Harbinger remained in orbit, joined by other Anunnaki vessels that established a permanent defensive perimeter around the solar system. Representatives from other galactic civilizations made contact, welcoming Earth into a loose coalition of planets facing the common Devourer threat. Captain Alina Reyes became humanity's primary ambassador to this cosmic community, her unique connection to the defense network making her the natural bridge between worlds. Under her guidance, humans began training to operate the growing interstellar infrastructure, preparing for the day when they would venture beyond their own system to join the larger struggle. Earth's first star destroyer had indeed destroyed something, not the planet as many had initially feared, but humanity's isolation and ignorance. In awakening Earth's ancient defenses, it had also awakened humanity's true potential as inheritors of a legacy far greater than they had imagined. As Alina stood on the observation deck of the South Pacific Pyramid, now a bustling center of interstellar coordination, she watched young recruits from every nation learning to operate Anunnaki technology that had once been mistaken for magic. The future remained uncertain, with the Devourer threat still looming beyond their defenses, but humanity faced it together, no longer alone among the stars. The arrival of the Harbinger had marked not an ending, but a beginning, Earth's awakening to its true place in the cosmos.